So the question is about blockchain. I'm going to explain blockchain from scratch, okay, and why it's a really big deal. So let me first of all show you the way business used to work. It still kind of works today. And then I'll introduce what blockchain is and why it's relevant. So I bought this over eBay. This is a ledger book. And a ledger book is used to account for accounting stuff, debits and credits, money in, money out. And I bought this knowing nothing about who this person was, but this person was actually a farmer, okay, a Canadian farmer. And it's kind of hard to see here, but I'm going to talk about what you see up here, okay? I'll hold that there so you can read it with me, okay? All right, so right here, a farmer basically sold cream and cattle, and then here had to actually go and purchase a couple items like oil and gasoline, okay? And this accountant actually accounted for all that stuff in this book, okay? And this was actually back in January of 1958, okay? And this person accounted for all this stuff for years and years and years, and I know a lot about this guy now from just reading this ledger book. And this is traditionally how people would keep track of money in, money out. The problem is that if there's a fire and this thing is destroyed, there's no more ledger. You have no idea what that farmer bought and sold. Another problem is that it doesn't matter if someone puts a lock on this. If you have this in your hand and you open it, security is compromised. Another issue is that if you're doing business with me and I'm the farmer, you don't have full visibility on my books, what my financial standing is. And so basically, this here is a little picture of one of those pages you just looked at, right? It's got my face all the way so you can see it. Okay, it's a magnet. I made it a magnet. So there's got to be a better solution so that securely you and I can look at a block and a chain of transactions and understand what is there in that ledger book. That's just a picture of the ledger book, okay? So what happened was blockchain was created, and the first notable blockchain people like to talk about is the blockchain for Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin was created by, apparently, we don't know for sure, a guy or a girl or people named Satoshi, okay? Satoshi in 2009 sent the first transaction over a block. Okay, I'll explain what that means in a minute. And he sent it to his friend Hal, and I think it's a joke, the word Hal, because Hal is actually from the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, and HAL, if you add one letter to each of the letters HAL, which is a computer from 2001: Space Odyssey from Stanley Kubrick, HAL plus one letter becomes IBM. Okay, so he sent the first transaction, block transaction, to he, she, or they, whatever, Satoshi, to Hal. And it was actually the cover of, and Richard, I know you're from London, but it was a cover from a financial newspaper in London in January 2009. And the article that he sent over this encrypted block was an article on the banks getting bailed out. And Satoshi was not happy about that, obviously, that, all these banks push us to the brink of disaster. We were within 24 hours of bank machines not working at that point globally. And then all of a sudden, all these banks get bailed out by the government. And then a year later, all these bankers get record bonuses. Total bullshit. Meanwhile, where I used to live in Burlingame, my neighbor on the left of me and the right of me were in foreclosure. And a lot of people lost their houses forever. It's ridiculous. So Satoshi apparently was upset with that system. And so Satoshi thought to himself or herself or theirselves, there's got to be a better way. It's not fair that governments can go out and increase the money supply dramatically, which decreases your and my net worth, right? It's not fair. I worked hard for that money. It's not fair someone else can devalue it. And so Satoshi created Bitcoin. And Bitcoin basically is a way for you to transact securely. Okay, so the first block transaction, again, was done back in 2009. And basically, the way blockchain works is this blockchain here, if you want to transact on it or send cryptos back and forth, Bitcoin, from you to somebody else or vice versa, there are certain addresses on this block. And there's only 21 million Bitcoin that are ever allowed to be created. It is what it is. And so what happened was, in order to incentivize people to mine Bitcoin, what happened was Satoshi or whoever made Bitcoin designed this in such a way that if you used a software program and you hacked this and you broke the security of this, you broke it, then kind of like when you break your arm and it grows back a bit stronger, that's what would happen. It would grow back stronger. And they incentivized people to try to break the security protocol by saying, hey, if you do it, I'll give you a bunch of Bitcoin, which are worth a lot of money. And so a lot of people got in and are like, oh my God, that's awesome. If I mine Bitcoins, if I use software on my computer and try to break this algorithm, which I just broke by accident, then what happens is you get a reward. And so capitalism kind of got a lot of people in on this, myself included, to mine Bitcoin. And I did a lot of this. I did it for Ether, which is Ethereum and other cryptos as well, which I explain in my complete cryptocurrency course. And so what happens is, as each subsequent block is created that attaches to this chain, okay, and there's addresses that tie it all together, so that you don't have to actually look through this thing. It's all documented here. What happens is this thing grows, and these records are permanent. They're there forever, and they never, ever get lost. And the entire blockchain becomes more and more and more and more secure over time, and it's better than real money because there's only a certain amount of Bitcoin that can be created ever, meaning 21 million Bitcoin, which will be created by the year 2140 when people stop mining it. Okay, so this is not regulated by governments. This is regulated by the laws of mathematics. Okay, and so this is much more secure, much more secure. And within this block, we don't just send each other cryptocurrencies, but you can also send each other banking statements and other stuff that's secure. And so eventually what's going to happen is there's actually going to be, and most cryptocurrencies are a scam, and I want you to always do your own research, please. But what you can do is eventually you'll be able to put other stuff on this too. You know, like, I don't know, buy a car, right? Car contracts, for example, okay? And you'll be able to do almost anything on these blocks as well, right? And so here's what was initially sent. This was the actual, and Richard, I know you're on the call from England. This is the actual newspaper article that was sent. See there? That was the Times. And so you can send information back and forth to each other, ledgers, money back and forth to each other. And then each one of these blocks, and I have another block handy, I'll bring it next time, would hook up with a chain. And this here is supposed to be, I thought it was Zelda, actually that the character's name is Link from the Zelda series. This person here is carrying, on the next block, is carrying an address. And that address links to the address of this block here. Okay, watch my complete cryptocurrency course for much more details on that if you want to. And so there's no such, like, this is like just a toy Bitcoin coin. It's not real. Bitcoin is virtual. And so eventually all contracts, or a lot of them will be done on this. You know, even like everything historical contracts as well. I got this from my kid. That's a book he read. All my friends are dead. Historical contracts, that sort of thing. And so it's much more secure. It's much more secure. And there's a whole concept of public key and private key, which I can talk about as well if you want to. And the security protocol of Bitcoin and early cryptocurrencies was initially based on something the NSA created called SHA-1, okay? That was the security protocol they used. Bitcoin is based on SHA-256 now, okay? But as you can tell, this is really weak security. You can hack it, right? And that's why I got this just for the course. And then eventually, what happens is you get really, Richard, you're gonna love this. Speaking of the Churchill war rooms, Richard's from London. You get really powerful computers like this one, which is used by the Brits to crack, the German codes. Right, and so this here is an early form of hacking, right? It's called the Enigma machine. They made a great movie about that as well. So what happens is this thing gets a lot stronger. The protocols get stronger as well, and each new cryptocurrency that comes out, that's legitimate at least, has even better security, But all codes can be cracked and will be eventually. And as these codes are cracked, these things grow back stronger. As long as they're a legitimate cryptocurrency, 95% of cryptos out there are a scam. A lot of people are going to go to jail for pumping and dumping. So anyway, that's the whole notion of blockchain. There's a gazillion cryptocurrencies out there in the world, and if you want more details on this, again, take my complete cryptocurrency course, because I want to arm you, and I do arm you in that course with 49 ways to do due diligence on companies, because no government, or cryptocurrency, because no government has regulated cryptocurrencies yet. And I looked through an IPO prospectus, right? The government makes you write these massive prospectuses before taking a company public, which lists all the risks. And I created a process like this for you in my complete cryptocurrency course to be able to do detailed research on a cryptocurrency before getting involved. And a lot of times new cryptocurrencies are created because the other cryptocurrencies are lacking in a certain area. So Bitcoin is very slow. It was one of the first ones. And so Ethereum was created. And Ethereum is basically a platform. And the token or crypto you can buy on the Ethereum platform is called Ether. And a lot of cryptocurrencies that go public, meaning they have an ICO, which is like an IPO, but for cryptocurrencies, ICO, initial cryptocurrency offering or initial coin offering. The way they do it is they distribute those new cryptocurrencies using the Ethereum platform. Okay, so whenever you hear about blockchain, just think of a more secure way of transacting longer term. And it's not just about sending cryptos back and forth, but also information, contracts like car contracts or whatever it might be. And so, yeah, I do think blockchain is the future. But I also do think that the bulk of cryptocurrencies are an absolute scam. And it breaks my heart saying that, because I worked so hard on my cryptocurrency course that I released. And when I first started working on it, I was a 7 out of 10 bullish on cryptos. And by the end of doing my thorough due diligence in that 24-hour course, I'm now a 3 out of 10. Just do your research. And I hate seeing individual investors getting scammed. That's why I say if you own cryptos, I don't want more than 0.5% of your net worth in any one crypto. All right, and if you have follow-up questions about blockchain and stuff, please let me know. Thanks.